Yo, creeping in the dark, life nocturnal, dark and dark, both paths arboreal to terrestrial. Sticky toes gripping forest students that explore. Listen close, Gecko podcast, that's knowledge galore. Reptile talk, host Anthony and Jason. Trade secrets flow, no time wasted. From tropics to town, it's sight raining. With every chat, reptile game changing. Escaping heat waves, tan under rays, desert sand echoes, sun blazing days. Little hustlers, camouflage a maze, catch them speaking wisdom.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Happy New Year and all that other good stuff.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, we got a good one today. We got Mr. David Kelly back on again, dude. Yo, David might have to be just a regular on this show. Like I said, every time he comes on, man, dude, I swear to God, like I've listened to the Tanzanian one, the Haemophilus fasciata episode. Man, it's probably like 15, 16 times already I've listened to that thing. I'm probably responsible for a lot of those listens right now. Dude, yeah. Every time I get on there, I just learn something new. So I was like, all right, cool. This is a great episode. I love it. So definitely. So how you doing, David?
I'm doing pretty good. It's good to be back. I had a pretty good year with geckos last year. Hatched a good number of Haemophilus, some Eublepharis angrameu, good number of hardwicki. So doing good over here.
Nice.
Very nice.
All right. No, and I guess we're back again talking about some more velvet geckos, but this time from the island of Madagascar. So how long, because you said you're not working with them anymore, correct?
I'm not. I was actually talking to earlier today, saying I miss them. I miss them pretty bad, but I just don't have the appropriate setup for them at this time. They need a lot of space. They're not like a lychee, where a lychee's pretty tolerant to some pretty small enclosures, and they'll do pretty well, in my experience anyway. They need a pretty good setup, and they need it fairly warm. And I just don't have that space right now.
Gotcha.
Understood.
So, now, out of the Ghouls-N-Geckos, which species have you worked with?
I only worked with Bovini, the typical Madagascar velvet gecko. I had 5 adults, 2.3, I think it was. I can't remember that 5th one. I produced them for 2 or 3 years, and unfortunately moved them on as life kind of got in the way and had to adapt.
Yeah. Okay, cool. No, so let's go ahead and jump right off into it. So what does their natural habitat look like, and how can we recreate that over here?
So when I was looking into them initially, it seems as though they're typically one of the generalists in Madagascar, found on rock cliffs, but primarily into the deep rainforest. They're definitely a tropical species. Your humidity gets too low, and they do start to have some shed problems. So they're typically on some of the larger, older growth trees. So that's what I tried to mimic, because when they were on these pretty large tree, I put in some large tree branches to almost be like a tree trunk. They would just kind of like circle the tree to kind of camouflage themselves and hide. It seemed like they were the most comfortable on that. So I'd say pretty standard rainforest, with the ability to adapt as needed in the other areas.
Okay.
What do your parameters look like for them? Like temperature, humidity? What were you shooting for? What was your goal?
I wanted to give them a 95, 100 degree basking spot, but keep in mind it was a pretty big cage, so it wasn't like they were going to cook themselves. And then I try to keep the cold side 75 degrees or so. During the wintertime, I didn't mind if they went down into the 50s. At night. So at the daytime, I wanted those temperatures to be right back up into the mid 70s. When I had moved to a different location and I started getting colder nights and colder days, I started having some problems with the animals. Nothing dangerous to them, but my reproduction tanked and they just weren't thriving, and that's kind of when I moved them on. So they definitely seem to have more of that need for a pretty consistent warm temperature during the daytime.
Okay, interesting.
So
Madagascar is interesting. I think it's amazing how many different, I don't know what they're called, but like micro environments there are. I was watching a video the other day. I don't know if it was Dave Kaufman that was there, and they were, just showing the extremes. The extremes of one island. It's just amazing how some species have evolve to live in these little mini ecosystems and the same island, and it's just, not everything that comes from Madagascar lives in the same environment, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
Super
absolutely.
interesting.
You've got Matoa Toa that live in the deserts down by Toliara, and you've got some of the Paradura species like Masobi that
Mhm.
need it way colder and it's just a very specialized climate. And then you've got the velvet geckos that generally are pretty bulletproof by comparison. It's just a whole gamut of these
Mhm.
microclimates and species.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that's why I'm starting to get some more of the Madagascan stuff. Like I said, I got Eurypletus now. I do have Peridor Pictus. Like I'm starting to love those things, man. Like they're like bulldog tank eating. Like they don't care. They eat everything. They don't care. They don't. There's no hesitation. They don't think about it like the rest of my geckos will think. Like I was a couple days ago, right? I'm over here giving everybody hornworms, and then they're looking at it like, I don't know. Them things. Thank you. Give me another one. Where's my other one? Thank you. Give it to me now. That's all they were. They literally, it was damn. They would damn near swallow it and just like, come on, keep them coming. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I'm like, man. So, but yeah, and then like you said, that like a lot of some of the reptiles in there can have like a duality in their habitats. Like I said, like the Pictus geckos, you can have them almost desert like or tropical like or deciduous forest, whatever you kind of want. So there, like I said, there is some bulletproof ones out there. So for like their diets, what kind of stuff are you feeding them?
So that was the beauty of them. Everything was on the menu. It did not matter what it was.
Nice.
So they do have an omnivorous diet. They will
Yeah.
eat some fruit materials. I actually at sometimes would just literally peel a banana and cut it in half and put it on the perch. I'd come back the next day and it was just little bite marks out of it. But primarily their diet, I did want to give them invertebrates.
Okay.
So it was primarily dubia roaches and crickets. A big male dubia with its wings flashing was like crack to them. They would shoot down off the
Wow.
trees to grab them.
They get that big.
Oh yeah, I actually
Wow.
had a female that jumped off her perch, grabbed a female dubia, and the bite pressure on them is pretty decent for their size. She hit the dubia roach, and the Uthika just shot out and splattered across the glass. I mean, it was truly cartoonish, but they've
Wow.
got quite the bite. They did like Pangea, so I mean, if
Yeah.
something happened where the dubia roach population wasn't very high, or I didn't feel like picking up crickets that week, they'd eat Pangea happily. But
Sounds
yeah,
convenient.
very convenient. They were incredible. I really never struggled to feed them. That was the nice part about them.
Yeah, it's an awesome thing when
That's
you're
a
looking for
great
a
gecko,
gecko to
man.
keep. You
Yeah,
know, if you're looking
exactly.
for
Yeah.
a new species, feeding convenience is huge.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
No, I like the feeding convenience of they will eat anything that moves. I
yes.
love to hear that right there.
Yeah. No, they
What
were phenomenal. You never had
do
to
they?
worry about one starving or.
Yeah. Do
Sorry.
they get
Sorry.
those big old jowls?
They do.
Okay, yeah.
Um.
So they store a
That's
lot of calcium.
They do. That is
Okay.
one species that I know we talked last time about UVB and how I'm generally not a fan of it for geckos.
Yeah.
That's one that I think it's maybe not necessarily a bad thing because they were fairly
Yeah.
active diurnal baskers.
Okay.
Not to the level of a day gecko, but they were confident enough to come out and bask without any fear. So that could help with that raising them.
Okay.
And if I were to get them again, I would probably offer that, see whether or not it helped with those big calcium sacs and the absorption of calcium.
Hmm. Okay.
Were
Nice.
these
I
guys
like that.
strictly arboreal, little terrestrial? What? I know you said tree trunks and rocks, but do they spend a lot of time on the ground, or
Oh, yeah, sorry, good question. They are almost completely arboreal.
are they? Okay.
Yeah, aside from laying eggs, they're up in the branches and the plants. That's where they want to be.
So they're digging and burying their eggs then? Typical
They
gecko
are.
stuff? Yeah.
They are. Every once in a while, they would glue them onto a tree branch, but that wasn't
Really?
always that
Okay.
wasn't always
Damn.
the norm. And I noticed that when they did that, it was oftentimes infertile. So I think that was mostly just a nutrition dump. They had eggs that weren't going to be good. They weren't fertile. I'm just going to lay this here and not expose myself, kind of a thing.
Okay. So they're egg lures.
It seems like it was just the infertile ones they were doing that with.
Okay.
The other ones they would bury and I would dig up.
Okay. All right. Now, so when they're getting ready to deposit their eggs, are you giving them a egg laying site, or are you just letting them just go ahead go into the soil that they have right there?
I had them in a naturalistic vivarium and on a misting
Mhm.
system, so she just kind of found her own
Okay.
spot in the soil and laid them.
Oh, nice.
Um,
Okay.
and I'm going to be honest, I never quite saw it happen. I just
Mhm.
would one day see her and she'd look a little smaller. They definitely were fairly secretive about it.
Oh, so I ain't ever seen any of my geckos lay eggs. I just come in one day. All right, let's start looking. All right, eggs here, eggs
Yeah,
here.
that's
Like,
right.
like I said, my Chihuahua, she just dropped eggs, like right before New Year's Eve. So I was like, oh, guess breeding season's already starting. I was like, man, I was happy. My incubator was off. Didn't have to turn that thing on. I was like, yeah, a couple months off. No, just keep it running. Let's go again. I'm like, all right, fine.
Right back in the grind.
All right. So, is there any kind of because I know there's not a lot of people keeping these. So, is there any common mistakes that you've noticed people that do keep them?
I think they keep them too cool. Sorry. Yeah, I think they want to keep them too cool, like a Rhacodactylus,
Hmm.
and too small of an enclosure. And that's generally not something you'll hear me say. I fully believe smaller enclosures can be utilized for animals. These guys really utilize that space. And I think keeping them in pairs really helped as well. And when you have two of those geckos together, the length of a lychee, but not necessarily the girth, more active, they need that space. They need to be able to get away from each other and kind of have their own little safe spots. Um, so that's what I've seen, but at the same time, so few people kept them that I
Yeah.
haven't seen. I haven't seen to the level of some of the more common species. We'll say
Yeah.
that. Because I mean, they're bulletproof like the Homophilus. They'll live under any circumstance, but you keep them too cool, they're never going to breed. And I do think a lot of people wanted to just give them Pangea, which is
Oh, okay.
fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. They will breed on it, but I do think that they have that hunting personality, man. Seeing them see a roach, it turns them on to where they want to get into that kill mode. I just think it's good for them to be able to have that access.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Said how big do they get again?
Oh man, a big female can get snout to tail 12, 13 inches.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
pretty sizable. So, them getting that big, what's your recommendation for a cage size?
So I had some really weird custom enclosures that were like 15 by 15 by
Yeah.
36 inches tall. I would go even bigger and do 36 by 18 by 36 a minimum. I had success in those
Okay.
cages, but I also had a ton of like branches and plants and thick tree branches set up like vertical trees. So it was a very crowded and cramped setup.
Hmm.
Um, I would go bigger. Bigger is better in my opinion. And I really wanted to play around with having two basking spots because occasionally I would see what looked like one animal kind of not afraid to go near the other one, but kind of like hanging off to the side while one would bask,
Yeah.
and then once it scurried off, the other one would jump over there. So I think they'd
Okay.
be a good. Yeah, I think they need some of their own space.
It's good observation. It's good advice. It's good
Hmm.
sign of a good keeper that you actually take note of something like that. Cool.
Well, thank
Oh,
you.
yeah.
And you know what? And that might just be my animals. Some other people might be like, "What do you mean? Mine cuddle up." And I had a big captive born female that was confident, and that was my first one that I had. She produced a majority of my clutches, and then I had a wild caught male that I had acclimated and cleaned up for captivity. That was her mate, and he was much shyer, and she was much more confident and outgoing. So it could have been their own personalities that led to that.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see it with two captive born animals that were raised by people and see how they interacted.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna ask you
What
what's
is
their social settings. Like I said, with because you said you had like a 2.3, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So how were those social settings with the other ones? Like you said, like the male, that one male was a wild caught and the female was a captive bred. Were the other ones all captives, or was it a mix of both?
There were some captive that I produced,
Okay.
and the others were wild or long-term captive rather. And the problem is I remember that first pair so well. I remember almost nothing about the others. Like they're up, because a lot of my experiences when I was really focused on them were before I moved to Kansas, and that's sort of where I had most of my time with the others. I remember one of them being one that I had raised up. which we can talk about this. I'll throw this out now. We can talk about it whenever. They conveniently can be sexed about 95% of the time right out of the egg.
Okay.
So, yeah, the males have a set of pores. It's like this yellow patch that generally they hatch out of the egg, and you can see it almost right away.
Nice.
I did have one animal that was given to me as a male, but it didn't have the patch, and we assumed it was a female. And then one day I went in and looked at it, and boom, it was a male. Like the patch had developed seemingly overnight.
Is this
so
like
that
a
was
They get
penal?
bulges?
It's just like a little. What shape would I call that? I don't know. This like octagonal kind of little patch right above the cloaca.
Really?
Yeah, you could see right away what.
That's unique.
Not 100%, as that one animal showed, but
Yeah.
generally you knew the males immediately, and just to be safe, I would sell the others as unsexed, or unless I knew it was for sure a female.
Okay. Yeah.
Talking
So do
about
the males
reproduction,
drop? Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead, Ant.
how big are the clutches? I'm assuming 2 clutches. How often do they lay eggs? Like how does the reproduction process work for these guys?
They were not laying a ton of eggs, if I recall correctly. I think I was getting 4 to 6 a year per female.
Wow, that few, huh? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, big geckos, they're fairly sizable
I wonder if
eggs.
it's size.
Yeah, and then they're big babies too. My goodness, they came out like the size of a small Haemophilus, that long tail, and almost ready to eat small adult crickets. I mean,
Oh wow.
bandids, not domestics. That would be incredible. So yeah, it was not a lot of eggs. Incubation was as simple as a Haemophilus, just long and dry. But if you did those 2 things, it was almost a guarantee hatch.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I want to
Let's
say I
take a-
tried giving a little more moisture, not overly
Mhm.
so. I didn't want to shadow the eggs, but I did want to give enough, just because they were a little more tropical. I didn't know if that was necessary. I can't say whether it helped or not.
With the eggs, are they hard shelled or are they soft shells like some other like crescent gecko eggs or something like that?
They were hard shelled, yeah,
Nice.
like a day gecko or Haemophilus. And so
Gotcha.
I definitely didn't want to overwater them with the incubation media. I didn't want a recipe for shattering the eggs.
Okay. So, well, when you're incubating, so what kind of temps are you looking at, or are you just kind of like put it in the room somewhere and forget about it for like 4 months?
I experimented with it with like the
Mhm.
Haemophilus, because there wasn't much at the time. I put them in an incubator at 82, and that seemed to be just fine.
Okay.
I never had a problem. It was. I feel lame talking about them, because it's like, yep, they're easy. They do this. You put them in. They do great. They were fairly cooperative as far as unknown species, compared to some of the Paradura that made you want to
Pull
just
out your hair.
absolutely pull out your hair and lose your mind.
Yeah. No, our buddy Matt wants those Masobis. I was like, dude,
Oh,
good luck. I was like, you're gonna have to put those things in a closet, keep that door shut, because if you walk past them, they're probably gonna have a stroke and die. Like
those things scare me.
Yeah, like I would love to get some, but I just can't do it. He's talking about he wants to get like a what was it, a 3.3 or 4.4? I was like, dude, that's a lot of money and that's a lot of heartbreak.
Yes. I remember a gentleman that used to put like ice cubes in the water bowl to help cool them down during the summers. And the summer temps, he was getting like 75. I mean, that's an animal that, like, I have salamanders that can tolerate those temps better than I have. I have no interest. I envy the people that have the time to be able to dedicate to a species like that and really give it their
Yeah.
all, because it
Yeah.
does really take somebody that can say, I'm not doing anything else. And
Go see
there is
those at the zoo or something. I'm not
that's
keen.
right. I don't have
I'll
that
just
in
look
me.
them online. That's it.
I would rather have my Haemophilus, and like I saw a female laying eggs in November, and I was like, I'll pull them when there's more. And I didn't pull them. I didn't pull them until last week, or what was a couple days ago, when I found all
Yeah,
those.
when you
Those
posted that
eggs.
picture, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that kind of relaxed herpiculture these days.
Absolutely.
But I mean,
Yep.
I hats off to everybody that can do some of those more delicate species, because the
Yeah.
majority of us cannot.
It's a huge dedication. Like you said, you're only having that one animal. That one animal. It just seems it's a lifestyle. It's got to be right. Like you have to
Mhm.
dedicate your lifestyle, your life to that one species because with the attention they need, and it's not that anything needs less attention, but you have to just be super. You have to be a very unique type of person to do that. Like I said, it's one of those things I would just go see at the zoo. You can appreciate them, you can love them from a distance. Give all the credit to the people that do it, but take it for what it's worth, man. It's not worth the heartache.
Yeah, not for me. I like animals that, I think I said before, that I can kind of sit and forget, and they are comfortable if I have to take a day off or
Mhm.
am busy with something. I don't have to rush home and go, oh my goodness, are the Masobi overheating? Not to make fun of Masobi or anybody's wishes, but that's but
Absolutely,
but
it's the truth.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's the truth.
So for the Blazing Necklace, right? When does the breeding season start for them? And then also, before it actually starts, are you giving them those cool downs? Are you putting them through a brumation? Are they eating during that time, or are they not eating? Things like that.
I want to say it was fairly similar to the Fasciata. I remember my first hatchling ever hatched in April, so that would have been around a January, December lay time. It was April or May it hatched, and it was a 3 to 4 month incubation, like Haemophilus. So it was kind of the midwinter, and it was just a light cooling.
Hmm.
I would open the windows at night, and it would get down into the 50s, but then I would close them in the morning, and it'd be right back up into the mid 70s during the daytime. They would
Hmm.
eat, just less. So
Yeah.
instead of the 3 to 4 times they were eating during the warmer season, they might eat 1 or 2 times a week.
Okay.
A lot more basking,
Mm.
but it wasn't a crazy cooling by any stretch of the imagination. Kind of right up there with the Fasciata, just on a bigger scale.
Yeah. And what's their gestation period like?
It was fairly typical for a gecko.
Like
Let's see.
30, 45
Yeah,
days, something like that?
yeah, I want to say it was closer to 30. I'm trying to remember all
Okay.
this from, my goodness, now it's been almost a decade.
Really?
So it was about 30 days. Then it was I think it was 120-day incubation period.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, because I remember that was the year I moved to Kansas. I had eggs in April or May. Sorry, I had a hatchling in April or May, and then I had several hatch out right as I moved to Kansas, which would have been another month or two out of there. So yeah,
Makes sense for a larger gecko. Sounds about right.
Okay.
yeah. I want to say that reproduction. I mean, the number of eggs was fairly similar to a lychee, kind of that same kind of
Mm.
number.
Okay. Go ahead.
What other type of unique observations did you make over your years with the species that maybe some people interested in this species might want to know or should know? Like what type of unique, I don't know, behaviors, care tips, supplements, like what observations from someone that's had their hands on the species, successfully reproduced them? What advice could you give people that you learned hands on that maybe they wouldn't learn in a book before getting them? If you could shorten that
Okay.
up somehow.
Uh, don't get bit. it 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 really really hurts. um,
Oh, man.
they
Another
have
one.
powerful jaws, and now I make it 13 inches long, and it will hurt quite a bit. But I mean, they are definitely a hands off gecko. They're not
Oh, they
one that you
are.
just.
Okay. Okay.
I did, and I know people will not believe me, and that's fine. I did have them in sliding glass enclosures, sliding glass fronts.
Mhm.
They did kind of learn how to open those up.
I
Um,
believe it.
uh,
Believe it.
Oh,
they
goddamn.
several times I would come into the room and there'd be a gecko on the ceiling. I was like, "How in the world? I know I closed that." So I'd put it in there and close it, and I'd come in a week or two later, and there'd be one scurrying across the wall suddenly. I'm just like, that makes no sense. So I got some cabinet locks and popped them on there, and wouldn't you know it, I never had a problem again. Um,
Interesting.
I can tell you right
Did you,
now. Oh, go ahead.
I was say, did you ever see them actually like move the glass or anything? Did you put a camera in there? Like, did you? Because I'd be like, I want to see this shit. Because how the hell y'all doing this?
No, I never did, and I really wanted to, but I figured out it wasn't me when it would be like the tank. It wouldn't be like fully open. It would be like just enough for a gecko to squeeze through
Yeah,
at such an odd angle. I'm like, there's no way I would leave it like that repeatedly. I mean, because these were
yeah.
when you close them, they were flush with what's that, the framing of the door, however you want to phrase that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't like there was a gap. And I should say, I don't think they were smart enough to necessarily realize what they were doing. They were just big, and their toe pads are so strong that when they would crawl across it, it
It would
might
move it.
jiggle. Yeah, and they'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, what's going on there?
I
And
put nothing past these animals. Their lives are quite literally one big problem solving mission. Now, I know it may
yes,
sound crazy to people, but us humans and mammals have conveniences, right? We have the intelligence to exploit conveniences. These animals' lives are literally all about solving problems, right? If you
Mhm.
put these things out there and something fell on them or they would have to figure something out. Now, if they're in a box, and I know it seems simple, they want to get out of the box. They're going to pry and push and do everything they can to try to get out of that box. To me, it's not far fetched at all. I think that it's super. I understand it. I watched a video, and I don't remember exactly what university did this study, but they took a bearded dragon and they had a sliding door, and they put a couple mealworms behind this sliding door. They trained one bearded dragon how to slide the door open, get in, and eat the worms. They took one that's never seen this before. They put him in front of the same door to get the mealworms. Sat there for hours clawing out the door, couldn't figure it out. They showed that bearded dragon a video of the other bearded dragon doing it, and then took him back out and put him in front of that door. He slid it right open, walked in, and ate the worms.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah. I'm with you. I think sometimes these animals, once they figure something out, it
Huh?
becomes pattern for them. I know around that same time, I forget the gentleman's name now. If this is your story and you posted it on Facebook 10 years ago, I'm going to borrow it. But this guy, he had a large number of tokays, and he had one male that would routinely get out of its enclosure. Much the same. It figured out how to slide out, and he gave up containing it and just kind of let it go about his room, being the cleanup crew. Put it with a female once in a while, and then just let him do its thing because it learned. After a while, he's like, you know what? You're not doing any harm. Go be anywhere you want to.
have one female, and she's arguably the smartest gecko in my collection. Like, and I know it's not a fluke. Like, tokays are extremely intelligent. Like the
Yes.
I can't even explain it. Like, people wouldn't believe me if I told you how, the things that give it away. Like, my tokay is not unique. It's the species. They are an extremely intelligent animal, man. It's just mind blowing. I
100%.
mean, it's almost insulting for us to think others are stupid. As derpy as and goofy as some crested geckos are, I've seen them do some remarkable things. Like, I have seen them solve problems in incredible ways. When you feed them a superworm and the superworm bites them, they're just a way that they, after a while, get bit so many times, and you hold the superworm to their face on tongs, they won't bite the tail anymore. They go for the head. Like, that to me, it seems super simple for a human, but for an animal to process that, it's not just dumb luck. They learned how to eat this animal, right? To eat this bug. They
100%.
adapt to things, and it's again, to some people it may sound ridiculous, but to me it's those little things that are just remarkable. Like, we're not the only living things on this planet that can problem solve. We're not the only ones that have a brain that works. It's just a different set of problems where we're trying to solve, I guess. It's we've all
Yeah,
seen monitors in action, right? We've all seen what a monitor can do.
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, food is the nature of training and
Survival.
socialization. It's not geckos, but I've got salamanders that when I walk by them, they do swim to the front of the cage and beg for food, which sounds ridiculous to a lot of people, but they learn. They learn who the food monkey is, and
Right.
when they're coming around.
There you go.
It's funny. My buddy Matt says the same thing, man. He has a bunch of salamanders and he feeds them, and they'll come to the front and stuff. And It's funny.
Yeah, you were on Matt's podcast, right?
Yeah, that was a great
Yeah,
time. Yeah,
yeah,
I
I think
didn't
it
hear
was like
that one.
yeah,
2 hours
yeah.
and 40 minutes.
Yeah, it was a salamander talk, right?
How the hell did I
Yeah.
miss that
Yeah, yeah.
one?
I don't know. It was
Okay.
back in December, I want to say.
Really?
I think it was probably like November.
Oh,
I
was
missed
it
a
really?
couple
think.
of
Yeah.
those too.
Yeah, I gotta double check. Yeah.
He's a cool dude, right? He's a super cool kid.
Yeah, that was a
Super
great
cool, right?
time.
I figured you guys would have a good conversation too. So I'm so upset I missed it because last time we spoke to you, I'm like, oh man, Dave and Matt would have like great conversation, man. Like shit.
Yeah, we had a great
See
time
that?
talking
Nice.
about just about everything. Salamanders, snakes,
Awesome.
geckos. Yeah.
He's a good kid. Good kid.
Yeah, definitely. So, with these Blaze-Daclys, is there any difference between the care of an adult to a hatchling?
Not particularly. This is another great example of a species that is just completely solid as far as a juvenile. I actually raised them in small tubs with lids
Okay.
and a rack system, just for humidity's sake.
Okay.
I was neat.
What about the heat? How are you getting them their heat?
It was a back heat rack system in a
Oh, okay.
that was
Oh,
fairly
so it's
yeah.
like an actual
Yep.
rack, like PVC rack, and not like a baker's rack.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
Yep. And so I'd set it to like 90, being a smaller tub. I didn't want to cook them too much.
Oh yeah.
And other than that, I just let them have as much food as they wanted to, and because they will put it back. They grow fast when given the opportunity.
Okay.
You could
Yeah,
get
I
them
was gonna
pretty
ask you what's their
sizable in
growth
about a
rate
year.
like.
Man,
Okay.
if you feed them well, you can have it not an adult, but maybe 7-8 inch animal by the end of the year.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
put it back.
Okay. And now, how would you? Oh, okay. So you put them in the tubs as a little hatchling. What kind of tub are you using? And then how are you moving them on up? Like, is it like a 6 quart to like a one of those double like a 12 quart, those like the double shoe size ones, or are you putting them in like an 8 by 8 by 12, 12 by 12 by 18, stuff like that?
I raised them initially in like shoebox tubs, mostly just because I was like, I have no idea what these are going to be like comparatively. Um, and they grew incredibly fast, and then they went up into 12 by 12 by 18 exoterras, then 18 by 18 by 24 exoterras, and then finally those custom made ones that were like, again, I wish I could remember the footprint. It was like 15, 15, 36. So just those kind of 4 stages.
Okay. Cool. That's what's up.
Do you think that's necessary for everybody that wants to keep one? Say someone's out there just has one or two for a pet. Do you think that it's completely necessary for them to go through the stages, or can they buy one animal in like one lifetime size cage?
I wouldn't do the adult cage quite, but I think you could do an 12 by 12 by 18, and then once it's got some size on it and doing well, you could throw it in the adult cage. They figure it out, and they're bulletproof enough that I don't think it needs those kind of life stage jumps. That's just what kind of worked for me back in the day.
Okay.
If I were to do it again, I would just throw them in 18 by 18. Sorry, 12 by 12 by 18 exoterras individually. I did raise them individually. That is one animal I did not raise in colonies.
Okay.
They're big enough. They're confident enough. I just assumed there'd be problems, and I never gave it a shot. Maybe I'm wrong. Some of these newer keepers, if you get some, give it a go and see your observations. We'll never know until we try. I don't want my word to be taken as gold, then nobody ever tries and we never learn.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Do these guys drop their tails like typical? They drop their tail, regrow their tail. What's that look like with this species?
Oh, yes, they will drop their tail. It will regrow, and it'll look the same shape as the original tail. It will not have the same color, but because, I mean, when they're fired up, they're kind of like a creamy white color. I don't really know. That's the best way I can describe it. So their tail, instead of having that same kind of coloration, will just be a slightly off shade. It's nothing. You're not going to look across the room and go, "That's got a regrown tail."
It'll be a full size, full shape, like normal shape and everything, huh?
Yeah, that's a benefit to them. That being said, I never really had any that lost full tails. I had issues with like tail tips. Maybe a gecko got it pinched under a perch, or like maybe a tail tip got nipped off. But what did regrow did not look bad whatsoever.
Cool.
Okay.
And that was
Do they
another
use it
remarkable
as
thing.
a? Do they use it as a like a fifth appendage? Like you know how some are like a
Oh yeah, yeah.
prehensile tail. Okay.
No, it was always very stiff.
Oh, okay.
I think it was just more of a balance when jumping more than anything.
Gotcha.
It didn't have much give to it comparative to like a Leachianus or a crested gecko.
Okay.
Interesting. Well, breeding these guys, you ever noticed any like courtship behaviors, like chirping, barking, maybe tail movements? You notice anything unique about them?
Actually, yeah, they would chirp to each other, a very, very soft chirping sound, and that was mostly if the male wanted to breed and was kind of initiating it. The female might chirp back. I want to say they made some pretty deep growls if they were truly irritated, but I cannot remember for the life of me what it sounded like. I mean, sorry, we're going back 10 years. I'm trying to
I
scrape my
understand,
memory.
100%, brother. I
Yeah,
understand, absolutely. That's
yeah.
cool. I can imagine the size of them. They probably make a hell of a growl, being that big.
Yeah, not like a lychee. They can really belt it out, but they still had something to them. But they would chirp, and mostly the male would just kind of like grab the female by the back of the head like a typical gecko and begin breeding. They were fair, even though they were a bolder animal in a bask. It was still difficult to see some of the more unique behaviors that took place at night. I would walk in the room and they would just kind of freeze in place. I tried sitting there I tried to be David Attenborough about it and sit in my chair and just stare and watch and let my eyes adjust. And they just would stare at me like, "What are you doing down here,
Yeah, they
man?"
know we're there. They know we're there.
Okay, this is weird. So,
How or when did they hit their sexual maturity?
man, a male could hit it pretty fast. I would
Okay.
say it was like 14, 15 months, and I had a male that was primed and ready to go. The
Damn.
females, I'm sure they can hit it just as early. I waited until 2 years just to be safe.
Nice.
It always feels like that's like almost a standard right there is like 2 years, with the exception of like some of your bigger stuff like lychees or like
Mhm.
I don't know, like what's lychee like 3, 4, 5 years, something like that. It's just like the bigger the gecko, the bigger like the longer the waiting period is. But it
Yep.
feels like most geckos are like 2 years, 2 years, 2 years. No, I mean it's good information still.
Well, and you
So
know what? At the time, I was a poor college student, and there was that idea of like, oh no, I don't want to kill this gecko. I don't want to rush it. So again, if somebody out there has let's say a 13-month-old female Blazodactylus, and she is chunky with big calcium stores and looks like she could breed, don't take my word for fact, but also don't take, if you experiment with it, just accept the risks.
right, yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. What's the importation on these like? Are they still bringing them in, or are they pretty much like holding off on those right now?
I think they're holding off. I have not seen a Blazodactylus for sale in a very long time.
Really?
Okay.
Well, not into the numbers that there were. I mean, back in 2015, 2016, it was like every importer had some Blazodactylus, one of the big three. What was it? Antonellogensis, Saklava, and Bovini. Somebody always had them, and then it just kind of dwindled out. So I also am not following geckos as closely as I used to, just because of where I am in life. I can't keep the variety I used to. So if I am wrong, somebody please tell me. But I've been to a number of reptile shows where I used to be able to see at least a pair, and I haven't seen a single one.
Yeah, no,
See
I haven't
crested
seen any.
geckos?
Yeah. Well, so I went. No, it's not even that. They're just not.
I know.
You know, it's. I guess I should say philosophically, as bummed as I am about it, I guess it should be said. I guess there's a reason they're not around anymore. Maybe they just didn't jive with people. The average herpiculturist did not find the appeal.
Yeah.
And it sucks.
I mean, like you said, like Ant said this before, like, some people just want to hold their stuff, and if it's a gecko that you can't hold, it's not gonna, people are not gonna where they want it. Me,
Yep.
give me all of them. I'll take them all. I don't care. But no, because like I said, I've seen a few on like Morph Market lately. And actually, that's where I'm getting one of the Sakava. I'm getting a pair, like I said, I'm getting a pair of those. And he actually has a pair of Bovani. He's like, hey, I know you want these. I know you
Oh,
want
you
these. I'm like, dude,
want
I know I do. You're just gonna have to wait.
them?
I've already hit my new gecko quota already. The year barely just started, so
I think you'll have. I never worked with Saklava. I've heard they were very similar, just a little bit more slender, a little smaller. But
yeah,
I think you're gonna have a
yeah.
great time.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
dude. Like I said, I'm loving my Homophilus. Like I barely see them. Anytime I do see them, I'm like, oh shit, there they are. I've never seen them eat. I've never like they like this front part right here. That's like their shitting window right there. That's all they do is shit right there. Boom, 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 and then they're off. I know they're eating because there's never any crickets in there. There's no dead crickets. There's nothing. And I even threw some of those the beetles in there.
Mhm.
See if they'll try to get on those. They haven't got those yet. They're like staying away from them. I was like, all right, cool. They still those beetles eat all the gecko poop that falls onto the floor, so I'm good to go. Anyways,
Did
Nice.
you guys notice that some species of geckos will crap in the same spot? Am I just
mm-hmm.
delusional, or like some just do that? Like,
Yeah,
right?
no,
Oh
my
no, they'll
my
do it.
pictus geckos, they poop in their little corners,
The
like
same
like
spot?
leopard geckos. Yeah, yeah, just like
It's,
leopard geckos,
my
they poop in that
knobtail
same
only goes to the
corner.
bathroom in one spot.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
which is I love it. I
yeah.
love that.
You just leave like one
That's
turd in there, so they keep coming back to it, and then just scoop the rest out, and
yeah,
then there you go.
yeah.
Any
I think it's
reason
more of the
to it? Is it
arboreal
just
geckos
this
that
like scent, like sense of smell? Is there any science either you guys know? What's the science behind it?
I
Uh,
don't know what the science is behind it. I couldn't
yeah.
tell you on that one. Like I know, like most, like the terrestrial geckos, all like to poop in this same spot. The arboreal geckos,
Anywhere.
where the hell ever.
Okay.
They
That's
just find a
exactly the
perch
observation
and
I've made.
boom,
Like
yeah,
cave geckos and knobtails poop in one spot. Crested
yeah,
geckos, lychees, all this other stuff that I have, Sarahs, they just crap anywhere. But
Yep.
yeah,
They spray it.
certain interesting. I never
yeah.
said anything to anybody because I always thought I'd sound like a weirdo. Like I have a gecko that like poops in one spot. Like I could put a litter box in there and they'd use it. People are like, yeah, all right, cool,
Oh,
got it.
no, it's so nice compared to like chuckwallas. I mean, my chuckwallas will poop and then just like roll in it. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, why? Versus my geckos that just make neat little areas in their tank. I can scoop it out really quick and then just be done with it. It's so nice.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. That's the good thing about the, like I said, the terrestrial ones. It's just
If
all right,
it's
cool.
terrestrial, I wonder if it's because they typically live in a cave or a hollow or somewhere. So they go to one spot to poop, so they're not pooping in where they sleep. I know it sounds
Hey, no
crazy,
shit where you
but
sleep.
No.
a terrestrial animal moves around a lot, or an arboreal animal moves around a lot. So it wouldn't make much sense. They could just poop wherever as long as they're not going to sleep on their poop. They find a different part of the tree or a
Yeah,
tree and it's fine. These
yeah,
animals probably lay claim to a certain crevice or a something's under a rock or something. They lay claim to a certain spot that they continually go back to. It wouldn't make much sense for them to poop there. So, I don't know.
No, I'm with you. I always took it as like a scent thing. Like they want the scent away from where they're hiding.
Yeah.
So a predator picks up on that and doesn't just come running to their rock, or just a cleanliness thing from their den. But I don't know if anybody's actually studied it and taken the
Yeah.
time to like look into it.
Definitely, like to me again, weird little sign of intelligence, right? It's not just like elephants are supposed to be so smart will just like shit down their own leg, right? Like they don't give a crap. You know, these little things like at least know enough to not shit where they sleep.
Uh,
Oh man. So is there any good literature on these things?
yes, there. Well, okay. By good, I mean it's like the only literature.
Okay. Well,
It's a. I'm
start somewhere.
blanking. I'm blanking on the name of the book, but it's a very great field guide. Field guide,
Uh,
kind of like what's the word I'm looking for here? It's a detailed field guide / literature review of like every animal, reptile, and amphibian in Madagascar.
mm,
I'm blanking on the title right now. It's on my bookshelf. I will take a picture and send it to you guys if you want to
oh
link
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Or
please.
I don't want to. I don't want to leave you guys hanging, but there's a little bit of information in there. The majority of it was just the old school way of looking at weather patterns and
Yeah.
the overnight and daily temperatures in their regions. And when you find scientific papers, and it would say so there was some scientific papers on their evolutionary history. So I know there were several because Bauer had done several genetic studies that a lot of gecko taxa. I know it's pretty solidified that Blazodactylus is related to Haemophilus, which in turn is related to Geckolepis as a sister group.
Really?
Yeah, that's not one you would expect, but those three kind of have a relation to each other, and that's really all that pops up in the literature. Other than that, you'll get little notes that says like generalist, eats bugs, lives in Madagascar, which I guess is helpful, but
If you don't have common sense.
yeah,
So those
a lot.
Geckolepis, that's the fish geckos, right?
Yeah, I always
Okay.
wanted to play around with them, and I just never did. I kind of regret
Yeah.
it since they've kind of disappeared as well.
I've been looking
Yeah,
at
they
them a
have.
lot lately. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw maybe like one or two on Morph Market this past couple weeks. And I was like, ooh, should I try that? No, let me wait. Like I said, I already hit my quota, so can't do any more.
We had my girlfriend and I had gone to the St. Louis NARBC a couple of years ago, and
Okay, yeah.
I saw some and really wanted to buy them, and she talked sense into me. I mean, in her defense, I had just spent like $400 on books, like, so I mean, it would be irresponsible to get them, but at that point,
Isn't
like
that what this hobby's all about? Making irresponsible decisions?
oh, I did make plenty. I made it was like we entered the show. I saw Russ Gurley's table. I turned and just picked up like I'm gonna buy that book and that book and that book and that
Yeah.
book, and like I blew my show budget in all of 10 minutes. So I mean, it was my fault, but no, I've always wanted to play around with those guys.
Yeah. No, I love going to Russ's table. Like I said, that's where I got my the Gecko Fauna of the USSR. It's a
Mm-hmm.
great book. Like I said, I always tell people like, yeah, I'm never going to get a gecko probably from around there, but it's a great read. It's like said, like what Matt say. He said, if you want to look up, like really want something, read up on it, and then you can make your decision from right there. You might not even want it after you read on it.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I got plenty of books where I read on stuff where I'm never going to get it, but it's good information.
Yeah, I've got books on sulcatas. Like I'm never gonna own a sulcata, but like I'm a sucker for building
That
my herb
man wants one,
library.
dude. I
Man,
tell you, like we got the because have you been to the out here in Arizona the reptile sanctuary?
well, I have not been there yet, but I have seen photos, and that
Yeah,
is
it's like
insane how many sulcatas there are.
it's like 2 or 3 acres of nothing but sulcatas. It's
Yeah,
crazy. Yeah, I want
yeah.
to go there again.
I don't like big tortoises. I'm happy. My desert tortoises are somewhat. Sometimes I'm like, man, they can just pound the food down. I couldn't
Yeah,
imagine trying to feed a 300-pound sulcata. But
yeah, no, I'm good on that one.
Imagine. How are those
yeah.
pancakes doing? How are your tortoises doing?
Oh, they're doing fantastic. I've got a lot of pancake tortoise eggs.
Really?
I'm not seeing the fertility that I'm happy with, and I don't know what the problem is. I'm gonna try combating my males out of curiosity and seeing if that kind of boosts the testosterone and gets them going.
It makes sense.
But I did hatch one, so it's not like they aren't or they're infertile.
Yeah,
I know one pair. My one pair, the male is a little young, so that one I can excuse. But the older pair, I mean, they're sexually immature, and I don't know if they just needed to, because they were wild caught during that last batch. They were imported during the last batch of pancake tortoises.
yeah.
So I don't know if they're just still kind of acclimating and things aren't the way they're going to be yet. But no, they're doing fantastic. I've got a couple more. I'm up to 8 Egyptian tortoises, which I'm very happy with.
Nice.
And then I'm actually we've had such a delayed winter up until today, where we have half an inch of ice and 6 inches of snow. We've had like nighttime lows in the 30s and 40s, so I haven't even put my marginated tortoises and Russian tortoises in hibernation yet. But now they're in the basement, kind of acclimating to the wine cooler temperatures, and then I'll pack them away for the next 3 or 4 months.
Do you watch Camp Kennan? Camp Kennan's YouTube channel?
Oh, I have before, yeah.
He's got some badass turtles. I guess he just took a bunch of what's his name, Tom.
Crutchfield.
Crutchfield.
Yeah, Crutchfield. He just, I guess he's taking a bunch of Crutchfield's animals. He's figuring out his living situation, and he had this one turtle, and I forget the name, tortoise, forget the name of it, but it was this giant black something mountain tortoise.
Oh yes, those are phenomenal.
What are they? Because I couldn't, I want to know what they are.
Burmese mountain tortoises.
It's Burmese mountain tortoise. Yo, these things are dope, Jay. They're like, it's giant black, dude. They look like a Galapagos tortoise, man. Like, I don't even know how to explain. It was so damn cool. They're saying they're super rare, I guess, right?
You can find them in the hobby with regularity.
Really?
Yeah.
Burmese mountain tortoise. So maybe I'll get one instead of Salcata.
If I ever wanted to, if I ever had enough money and like could build a barn, heat them through the winter, I would love just to have a single Burmese mountain. But as it is, I like animals that when it gets cold, I just toss away. Not toss away. Pack away for the winter time and let them do their thing. No heat, no nothing to worry about. But no, they're phenomenal. Everybody that has worked with those has said nothing bad about them. The only thing that the size when they're adults is the only thing to consider.
Third largest tortoise in the world, he said. He was saying it was the third largest.
Man.
Yeah, you just need to have a good sized barn, a lot of food, and moderate temperatures in the wintertime. Not they can take it into, like, from what I understand, like the high 50s at night, but not like consistently. And if anybody listens to this and I'm wrong, please tell me. That's just my understanding of it. I'm not an expert on Manoria. I looked into them a little bit, and I talked myself out of them before I made a mistake that I would have regretted. So
I don't have one, and I just can't give them what I know it needs. I mean, I don't know much about the Burmese, but I mean, even like a Salcata, I don't have the means to give it what I would want to, and that's the only reason. It's damn sure not the money that I don't have one, but I know that I can't provide what it needs. You know, and that's what stops everything.
Yeah, it'd be like the rest of these people that on Facebook, due to unfortunate circumstances, can't take care of this Salcata no more.
Don't sit down with me.
Yeah, and it's just because they don't do the research and realize that thing's gonna get like 20 times its size. That because when they buy it, it's this cute little old baby, and then by the time that thing's fully grown, that thing's your tire truck.
Yeah, that's what I want for. I want a big one. I'd go get a big one. I'd go adopt a big one if I could.
I think the tortoise hobby's kind of started to focus more on like the Western Hermann's tortoises, and Egyptians kind of have their
stuff.
Egyptians kind of have their unfortunately, Egyptians are currently ESA, so you can't sell them across state lines. So that kind of hinders them. Plus, it took a little bit to understand their reproductive biology and captivity. So it was kind of a little too late for them to take the mainstream. But I think in the future, that's one tortoise that could, I don't know, be more practical for people that want one but don't want to have their entire backyard and living situation dictated by a drywall-eating bulldozer of a tortoise.
What's your stance on box turtles?
Oh, they're great. They're phenomenal.
I love box turtles.
Yeah, no, if I had more time, room, and money, I mean, not North American. Kansas is very, very concerned about the ornate box turtles in the state. I wouldn't want somebody to come into my yard and go, "That's a native box turtle," and be like, "No, it's not. It's not the same one." But I mean, the Kiora, the Chinese box turtles. I mean, I wouldn't mind working with them. Again, just space and time.
Yeah.
What's something you would take if you did have more time? And I know what you're doing. We talked about off camera. If you weren't maybe doing that and you had, some extra time in the day, what's something you would really, really love to have? What would be like, I'm definitely going to get this animal if I had 2 extra hours of time in the day. This is, without a doubt, I'm getting this species.
Well, that's a really difficult question. I really don't know if I have an answer for that. I kind of have everything. I kind of have everything I want.
Mine changes daily, so it's not like it matters,
Yeah. Next time I talk to you guys, I'm sure I'll have an answer. But I'm pretty content right now.
Awesome.
I can't.
It's a good place to be.
Right there. Yeah.
I guess a little more abstract answer. If I had the money and time, I would love to have a sectioned off room and do a lot of geckos again. Some of the more obscure. I do miss it quite a bit. It's just not practical for me right now.
Yeah.
And
I commend you. Better than getting a bunch of crap, and like Jason said, put them on Craigslist because I don't have the time or the means to take care of them. I mean, it takes a lot of self-control to stop that impulse crap. I mean, you can easily go from 2 geckos to 100 if you
Yep.
just have a basic little job. Like,
Mhm.
and it gets overwhelming fast. And we see a lot now, in particular in the hobby. With the geckos and whatnot. People went crazy over the pandemic, being locked in their houses.
Oh yeah.
Hundreds of geckos. Now all them hundreds of geckos are having hundreds of babies, and now people are just. I mean, I commend you. You're doing the right
Yeah.
thing. It's honorable.
I guess species specific wise, Cerdodactylus pulchellus is one I always wanted.
I love
Uh,
that thing. God damn.
I love
Oh man.
Cerdodactylus. I did not do well with Consabrinus.
Yeah, I think you said that on the last one that you got
Yeah.
great at killing them.
Yeah. Oop.
Oh man.
Sorry,
Your weather
emergency
alert?
alert went off. Yeah, it's saying do not travel.
Ice. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Gecko Smith Eye is another one I'd like to revisit actually.
Oh yeah, nice. Yeah.
I got a bunch of wild caught imports that looked about as good as you can expect.
Yeah.
And I couldn't turn them around. Nobody that I knew got from that shipment had any turnaround, but some of those would be nice.
Interesting.
I'm pretty much at the point where I'm hardly looking at like Facebook now, or not Facebook, Morph Market.
Uh-huh.
Like I
It's
may
dangerous.
look at it. Yeah, well, it is too. That part is true. But it's like you said, you're just kind of content. And then also, I mean, building all these relationships in this hobby too. It's like people hit you up, like, hey, I got this. You looking to do this? You looking to get this? It's like, all right, cool. Now don't even have to look at Morph Market anymore. But like I said,
Yeah.
like with the space that I have right now, I was like, all right, I'm pretty limited on how much stuff I can get and what I can do. So, but that's why I'm looking to, like, in the next few years, we're looking at buying a house, and I'm looking for a place that has a guest house on the property, so I can use that as my gecko room and then expand into some other stuff as well. But
Right on.
so
That's
with
cool.
those Blaze Dactyls, like the wild caught stuff, right? How long did it take for you to kind of like get them established?
Man, they took to captivity so well. That's
Yeah,
Bovini. That's Bovini.
yeah.
I
Okay,
do
okay,
not want to speak to the others because I don't know. I've heard that they were a little more flighty. I do not know,
okay.
but no, I remember quarantining my initial male wild caught for I don't know 3 or 4 months, and I mean by the
Okay.
time it was over, it was like he was born in captivity almost. I
Born
mean
again.
he was still shy compared to the female, but I mean it was not like those Gecko Smith Eye that I never saw or like I could barely monitor. These I could see it bask, and it might run away after a minute or two of me staring at it, but no, it did not take too long, and they came in great body condition. I mean, you could
Oh, that's good.
really do some damage to some other geckos in the import process, and these just seem to really do well with it.
Hmm.
Okay.
Did you do any type of other than like quarantining them in obviously probably a separate area than your main collection? Did you do any other precautionary things? Did you try to
Like
deworm them?
medication.
Did you do anything like specific?
No, I dewormer scares me with some of those tropical geckos, so I just tried to keep it as clean as possible. Oh, I see poop. Okay, substrate change. That's the way I handled it. Just try to break the oral fecal
To,
route for some of those. And if I saw
absolutely.
any off behavior, I would have obviously kept it longer and maybe seen what happened. But I didn't really see any problems with those animals, nor
You
the
came in
captive
as
bred.
healthy as you said, with some weight on them and stuff. They're probably be strong enough to overcome anything anyway. It's a
Yeah,
dangerous thing when an animal's weight is down and they may not have enough stored nutrients and energy to combat something that's a viral load or a parasite load or something. So I'm real careful with telling people to use dewormer too. I know lots of guys are like, just deworm, deworm, deworm. I deworm twice a year, blah 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 blah. I'm like, I'm not. I'm
yeah.
not. But
I don't like it, and I know it can be done safely. So I mean,
yeah,
to those that do it, good. I just it's not
absolutely.
for me. It's not for me. I like to just try to let the animal work it out of their system. And again, I'm lucky to have a girlfriend that I can be like, hey, can you look at this under a microscope? And she can tell me if something looks weird. But generally, we haven't had any issues like that.
Nice.
That's awesome.
So when you're quarantining them, are you what is it like your setups for that is it like you doing a tub setup for them, or are you doing like a straight up just a sterile like exoterra or something like that?
I actually used one of those custom enclosures. I just moved into a different
Oh,
room,
okay.
and I set it up pretty much like I would the others. Just instead of like a bioactive substrate or anything like that at the time, I just threw a bunch of peat moss in there, and I would just spot clean daily, try to empty it out maybe once a month.
Okay.
But it was easier because they also spent all their time on the tree branches. So I mean, they weren't coming into contact with their fecal matter, which was nice as well.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go too sterile because I didn't know the stress
Stressful.
level of the animal.
Yeah, absolutely. It'd be super stressful.
Now turns out they can handle it just fine, but you know, with some of the other geckos that you get that don't handle it super great, you never know. So they were no problem whatsoever. Again, super boring to talk about because you want something
No.
you want something dramatic and like
No.
it's like, oh, they're easy, they're great, they're chill.
Well, I mean, but that's the thing though. Like, no, like I said, there's not a whole lot of information on, but you're like, no, they're super easy. You're giving out great information on this to where it makes people more confident on into searching those geckos out and maybe wanting to purchase some and
Absolutely.
try to take their hand at that instead of backing off saying, no, I don't know because I don't have any information. So
Yeah.
no, this is perfect.
Not to talk about myself, but I just recently got this Helmahera gecko, right, in a trade.
Oh,
Now,
those are
they're
cool.
nothing fancy, they're nothing expensive, they're nothing. But I got it because it randomly just popped up in an offer for a trade for some stuff that I did have. But apparently, and from what I've gathered, there's not much of a difference in keeping this thing than I do my Tokay gecko. But had I had not, I wouldn't have actively sought out the species and bought it because I can't find any information about them. I have not been able to find anything on the internet other than a couple people that have them that talk about their experiences with them. I haven't found, there's literally nothing out there. So my point, I guess, is that information and conversations like this give people confidence, give someone something to go and listen to look back on, and maybe be a little more confident, get some advice, get some information, and again, confident enough in taking on a new species that there's not much to have. Because when there's not much literature, it takes a very specific type of person. Like, oh, I'm going to go get that animal, knowing there's nothing out there about them. You're taking a huge gamble. It's a gamble. So with little bit conversations like this and a little more information about this species, out here on the web now, which is stamped in eternity, this hopefully leads people to keeping them, working with them, and us seeing more of them in the hobby. It's I think it's a vital part now. It's our responsibility. With the way technology is, if we have information about a species, we are obligated to share it to the masses. Now, they don't have to take our word as law, but we are obligated to share what we know for the betterment of the hobby, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're doing that. You're doing that.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's what it's all about. If we don't talk about it, it doesn't, like you said, nobody learns and the species vanish.
Yeah, people get scared to get stuff they can't find information on. Like, if you don't know what something eats, I'm not just going to go like, well, you know what? I want it. It's cool. I'll probably figure it out, but I might not. And that thing's what, $400? Like, a lot of people are going to be like, nah, I'll pass. I'll wait till someone else does it, or I'll wait for this, or I'll wait for that. And, we're just not helping anything progress.
And I would encourage people that maybe haven't had that opportunity to try to take something different and that with not a lot of information. And if you feel confident, if you feel comfortable spending the money or just even thinking about it, I would urge people try looking at the habitat, try looking at the weather data, try it out. Again, if you don't have the money, don't financially strain yourself to try out a gecko to say you did it. But if you have the chance, why not?
yeah.
The worst
I
you
mean,
learn,
yeah.
the worst you add is a piece of the puzzle, negative or positive. And
Exactly.
Mhm.
No, and just like you were talking about, get your weather app. Use your weather app. Like right now on my weather app, I got Patia, Morebi, Colorpot, all different places of all these geckos. So I'm looking at what their temps are right now, so I know I'm in those temp ranges. And then also, like you said, iNaturalist, pretty good
Oh yes,
information on
yes.
there.
I've been doing this helmet hair, living on
yeah,
iNaturalist. I
yeah,
tell
right.
everybody, like, well, you can't find nothing. What are you doing? I'm like, honestly, studying the island. studying the island. I'll put it
Yeah.
all together myself. You know, I'm studying the island.
Yeah,
I look at the
exactly.
bugs there, look at
Right?
the plants there, I look at, you know, weather, climate, where the, you know, water is. I'm looking at everything on the island, and that will give me an idea.
Yeah, and if you're really dedicated and it's a North American species, go herping. Go see its habitat. Obviously,
Oh, yeah.
we all can't drop it and go to Australia or New Caledonia or Halmahera. But I don't know. Just try to think outside the box for some of that stuff. I really like
Absolutely.
Trans-Pecos rat snakes, so I went to New Mexico this past year to look at their habitat in New Mexico. I'm going to do it in Texas this year, again, just because I want to know what it's like where they're living.
Yeah.
Um, that's
Nature is our
also
proxy. I try to explain to people nature should always be our proxy, not Joe Schmo keeper down the street, man. Not this guy on Instagram and not that guy on Morph Market. Nature is our proxy. These animals,
absolutely,
natural habitat is what we should gauge everything we do off of.
absolutely, and obviously a Trans-Pecos rat snake is easier to go herping for and look at its habitat. But if you're into banded geckos, save some money and go to Texas and go look at their habitat. If you're into
Cool ass animals, man.
if you're into Ensatina salamanders, take a trip out to California and go hiking and try to look for them. It doesn't matter what it is. If you can, that should be part of the experience. Or
Oh, yeah,
heck,
definitely.
if you just want to understand herbs better, just go herping in your own state. You'll be surprised what you learn from looking at unrelated animals. That's the way the old timers did it. Herping in old encyclopedia and atlases. I mean, obviously, we're in a more modern age, so it's easier. We don't purposely hamper yourself, but for some of the more uncommon stuff, give that stuff a shot.
Oh yeah. So we got a question in the chat from our from Bioscapist. He's had a question, it's random but applies to anyone with an incubator. Any pro tips on keeping that mildewy smell at bay? Anyone use an Arm and Hammer, baking soda, or anything like that? So I haven't had that problem yet. So have you, David?
Yeah. No, I haven't at all.
I don't know. You might just need to get a new incubator, man.
Yeah.
Less
I'm not
water,
sure.
you know. I mean, no, it sounds crazy, but less water. I mean,
Yeah, that could
something's
be it
happening.
too.
I've never, if
Yeah,
I'm running the same setup for
depends.
6 years, I have never smelled it.
Yeah, honestly,
Yeah.
I'm using that Exoterra Incubator Pro, and I don't put a whole lot of water in there to touch because there's like a little foam that so there's water, then you place a foam mat on top of it. So I usually don't put enough water in there for the foam to actually touch it. So it might be something like that, just using a little bit less water. I'm not sure what incubator you're using. So
maybe try airing it out during the off
yeah,
season. Yeah.
yeah, that too.
I don't.
Yeah,
Be
like I
real
said,
careful about putting any chemicals near your eggs. I don't know
Yeah.
how permeable eggshells are, but I'd imagine they're the way you can hydrate a dehydrated egg, that they're pretty permeable. You know, I wouldn't
Yeah.
yeah, like I
put
said,
anything.
after breeding season's done and all my eggs are hatched, I usually just leave my incubator open so everything just airs out because it constantly sprays water into the air because
Yeah.
I set it to I set it to 80% humidity. So whenever it dips below that 80%, it'll start spouting some water out so it keeps it up the relative humidity at where it needs to be. Okay, he said, yeah, added water, so I took some out. Thanks for that. So, he has one of those mini fridge looking
I
incubators.
wonder if if the fan stopped.
Oh.
Usually those things have a fan in the back. They have a little exhaust
Yeah,
fan that goes to a filter. Mine did. I had the Exo Terra one that shit the bed on me, but it had a fan. Never any mildew.
Yeah. Maybe it is air circulation. That could certainly cause a problem. Maybe the fan needs to be replaced or another one added. Yeah.
yeah. Or maybe just add a computer fan in there. Let that
Yeah.
get a little bit extra going. Yeah. So,
Deal with it.
oh man.
I'm
So,
jealous.
oh man, I totally forgot what I was about to say now. Damn.
No worries.
Thanks, Bio. I forgot now, just because of Bio. No, so with like I said, you've only had Bovani, correct?
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay. What? Never mind. We got one. So, thank you for the question. Yeah, it has a fan. Okay, cool. Damn it, I lost my train of thought. Anthony, go. I lost my train of thought, man. I'm getting too old for this shit. I'm
What
sick
are your
too.
plans? I know you briefly talked about what you did last year in 24. What don't want to call them hurdles, but what type of benchmarks do you have set for this year? What are your goals with your collection in general?
Not gecko wise, but I'm really hoping to produce some pygmy marbled salamander eggs. They're in breeding condition right now, so fingers crossed they'll finally go this year.
Do they go in the water, or they lay like a larva first and then turn into salamanders, or how do they morph or grow? Are they like, I don't even know the terminology for these things.
So they actually stay fully aquatic. So they'll
They do.
yeah, you can. I know people sometimes give them a land area. I just keep them fully aquatic.
Okay.
So they'll lay the eggs in the water. I'll pull them out and separate them into an individual enclosure. And then once they hatch, they'll stay larvae for quite a while and then slowly morph into a smaller salamander.
Okay.
Okay.
I'd like to produce some more northwestern alligator lizards this year. Yeah, I love those little things, and
I'm going herping for those this year.
Oh, they're fantastic. Look near water. You'd be surprised.
Yeah. My buddy Thomas out in Tucson. He's like I said, he's looking for like certain localities of the like the Madrain ones because there are some that are more higher red than the others. So that's what we're actually going to go look for is more of the higher red localities. Because he wants to breed those.
That's actually what I collected in New Mexico this past year. I really wanted. Okay. I had Madryn alligator lizards, Algaria kingi, many years ago. I wanted a pair again. I found a female on the second to last day. Yeah, it took a lot of time and effort. It was just very dry. The rains didn't quite come in the way they should have. But yeah, you'll have a ton of fun. I would love to go get a male eventually. The Northwesterns are cool because they're small and they give live birth. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the Madryans will lay eggs. The Northwesterns will give straight live birth. I have a pair cooling right now, and they seem to be doing pretty good. I've had them for going on almost 2-3 years.
How cold do you get them? How cold do you get them?
I let them get pretty cold the first year, and I will be honest, it got pretty cold and dry, and they did not. I had a couple females crash.
Really?
So yeah. However, I noticed that they would actually, when I took them out of hibernation and put a water bowl near them, because I was worried they were going to get too wet in their hibernation boxes, so I don't leave a water bowl in normally. In case they knock it over and there's problems. No, they ran over and they drank and they drank and they drank and they drank. I mean, that's crazy to see a lizard just drink out of a water bowl like that. So I am letting them get into the mid to low fees and leaving access to a water bowl and misting once a week to make sure they get the moisture they need, because it does seem like it's important. So I'd like that again.
I was thinking about getting those. I was at the reptile store today, and they had like those. I believe it's like the San Diego alligator lizards.
Oh yeah.
They're
phenomenal.
Yeah, they are. They looked. Man, I should have got them when they had them on sale off of Black Friday because they were like $50 a pop.
Yeah, you will not regret it now.
Yeah, I should have got them, and they still have them. They have like 4 or 5 of them in there, and they're like these nice little babies.
How much are they off sale?
Regular price, they're just $1.50.
Oh, it's not bad. It's not terrible.
No, it's not bad at all. But I was like, damn, but I missed them for $50.
I've got a friend of mine who's had quite the collection of some pretty rare stuff, and he has had more fun with his alligator lizards, San Diego alligator lizards, than he has Bolin's pythons, for example.
Wow.
Yeah. Think about that.
Damn. Okay. Well, I guess like Bolin's are like one of those, not holy grail, but it's like that upper echelon python.
Yeah, that's my dream snake.
I seen one at the reptile store today for like $8.99.
Bolin's?
Yeah, it was
for $899.
Yep, they had Bolin's for $8.99. They had.
Can you go back tomorrow? I'll give you the money. $899.
Yeah, they had Shinosaurus over there for like I think it was like $2.99, not $2.99, $2,900 or something like that.
Oh, okay.
That's more like
they had what the hell is it? The Cayman lizard. They had one over there. They had those Madagascar tree boas. That this reptile shop has a lot of different shit. And so,
That sounds like a great place.
yeah. Like
For the
he
golems for
used to
that
host
much, that is.
expos out here, and he just kind of said, "Nah, screw it. I'm just gonna do this pet shop." So I was like, "All
Okay.
right, cool, whatever. As long as you got some cool shit, I'll come in."
Sounds like Anthony's getting the Bullens then.
Dude, listen, the last time I checked, the cheapest I could find one for was like $7,000.
Yeah.
So
No. Yeah, and this one's like not a baby, but it's pretty small. So I'll double check when I go back to go get feeders, and I'll let you know what it is.
please,
But
please,
like, I thought it was
please.
$8.99. So for these, now I got my question. So for these blazing actors, 3 good tips to keep to
I would say a variety of food. I would say do not handle them. They are not a handleable gecko. They are a display tank. They are going to do great. And if you leave them alone and give them space, that's what they need. And you will do great with them. If you can do those 3 things, I think you're going to have a very rewarding experience with a pretty cool gecko.
Nice.
I know this question sounds
Nice.
ridiculous, but how do they work with plants? Did you have them in a planted enclosure? Do they work well with plants for someone who wants to just have a display piece? Do they destroy the plants like a lot of things that size would, or do they work okay with the plants? Can you have a nice planted enclosure with these guys?
Yeah, absolutely. They definitely seem to. I mean, because they're a big animal, but they're not like lychee thick. You know, they're not going to crash through them and destroy them to the level of a lychee. I'm not going to say they're gentle, but you're not going to see your plants shredded. You're not going to see plants ripped out of the ground, and you'll be able to grow some stuff up. You might need to look at some more moderate strength plants. You know, some of the thicker stems. I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but just something that you couldn't just knock over very easily. But other than that, no,
Awesome.
they'll do great. A nice vining plant isn't going to die from them either. Ground cover is going to be incredibly easy for them because they're not going to go down there.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Well, I know we're getting close to the end. I know you already answered this once before, and you were talking about some of your bigger failures. Now, instead of a bigger failure, what has been some of your more positive, not contributions, but what would you say wins? What has been some of your biggest wins in this hobby?
Just across the board, all tax stuff.
Yeah, across. Yeah.
Let's see. I think I've bred about 40 species now, so I'm pretty proud of that.
Damn.
Hatching that pancake tortoise felt really good. The chuckwallas felt really good to produce. 3 clutches of diamond pythons 2 years ago was pretty nice. Getting some county records in my state for herping. Some of those are the ones that come to mind to me.
Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome.
Shit.
All right, so for my closing question, I guess it's gonna be different too. Since we already had you on, I hate to ask the same ending question, but being
Right.
that you've had so much time in the hobby, you've worked with so many different types of animal and had so many successes, and you're in the loop in the reptile hobby loop. What advice would you give to the next generation of hobbyists to take this hobby to the next level? Like, what advice would you give our younger keepers as a whole to say this is how we progress our hobby?
I would say remember that they're animals, not product.
Beautiful.
There is nothing wrong with breeding morphs. There is nothing wrong with having a large collection. There is nothing wrong with any of it. But remember what they are. I think that gets lost on a lot of people. There's nothing wrong with having a hobby that's not a business. There's nothing wrong with growing slow. I am the master at building a collection too fast and going, oh God, what have I done? And then having to slow down a little bit, crash and burn. It is, and if I have to single it down even more, I'd say think about that when you breed those babies, they've got to go somewhere, because eventually you're going to get that collection. You're going to get so excited. You're going to build it up, and then you're going to go, oh, wait, where did they go? I have no space anymore.
Tell people that all the time. People look at me like I'm being mean. I'm like, just think about what you're doing, and not for nothing, but if you're going to breed 2 or 3 crested geckos, just plan on having yourself about 60 babies that you are going to need to house or find somewhere to go. And then people get mad at me. I'm like, listen, I'm not being rude. I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Like,
Those are facts.
There's nothing wrong with having an empty tank if it's going to be utilized later. Man, I've got several of those. Let's see. Work with a species that works with your environment. That's one that I think people need to take into account way more than they do. If you live in the desert and you've got really hot temperatures, maybe don't try keeping a rubber boa. If you live in Wisconsin, maybe don't try having a sulcata. And I don't mean to sound rude. I mean, if you would like to spend the money on the air conditioning it requires for some of these montane cold weather animals in a desert, by all means. But I mean, are you going to be enjoying it as much if you can do some things that are a little more applicable to your region, temperature-wise?
Why I don't have an abronia.
I was just going to say
Yeah.
that. You put the words out of my mouth. That's why Jason doesn't have a bronia.
Right.
It's a fact.
There's a reason with Kansas humidity why I do not have a lot of tropical stuff anymore, because it is dry. So.
Yeah. I said I'm on the cusp of like this is like my threshold right here, like the Europlatus. That's like my all right, can I keep this correctly? Good, like all winter long, or even the not even like the fall, I've kept this enclosure around between like 65 to like 75. I was like, all right, cool, we're good on those. So working on like those, and it's just finding different ways of how to do it. Like I do a cool mist, not a mist,
like
a
a fog. Yeah.
I use my Govee humidifier with the. Let me see. I could actually like this tube right here. That's connected to the. All right. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, no. So yeah, I use that that fogger with that little thing right there, and at night drops in nothing but cool fog because I put ice in the humidifier.
Oh,
so it's certain little things like that where you got to make those adjustments if you want to keep certain species. Now, if you're not willing to make those adjustments, then you just need to move on to find a animal that works within your environment, like you said.
And I think it's something as a hobby that we all take for granted. I have. So again, this is not me pointing the finger. This is me having learned it the hard way, trying to pass it on. You're going to be so much happier when you don't have to think about the fact, oh man, I didn't miss today. Did I just kill half my gecko collection? Or, oh man, it got really hot today that I just, did this just go wrong? You're going to have a much more relaxed, enjoyable hobby experience.
Yeah, I agree.
So Bioscaper said, well, he said, good combo. He would add that having a small detached garage with an AC unit allows him to set the room temp for all his geckos and aquariums. So yeah, I mean, anything like I said, talking about, I want to get a house with a additional guest house, so I can have a separate AC unit for it. I can set my own parameters in there and not have to worry about everybody in the house. So.
Yeah.
Or you could just get a wife. She's probably likely to kick you and all your shit into one room,
I mean, that's fine. I can go in there and go chill out. I'll still have a TV. I'll have my cable or whatever, my internet. We're good. All right. Well, hey, yo, Dave, man, dude, thanks again for coming on.
No problem, man.
It's been always such a
good time with you, man.
No, I love talking to you guys.
Oh, yeah, man. Dude, every time, like I said, I'll probably listen to this one like 16, 17 times as well. Just learning, and and then hopefully everything just works out well, with everything that I'm getting. Because, like I said, these are kind of almost selfish episodes because it's like, all right, cool. I'm getting some Blaze-Dactylus. Let's do a Blaze-Dactylus episode. I'm getting a Cerdactylus. Let's do a Cerdactylus episode. And it's another way for us to find out more about these geckos and stuff like that too. Like I said, they're mostly selfish episodes for me. Before
we go, I do want to say, because I promised her I would mention them. My girlfriend, when I got my male Hardwickie, I got her 2 morning geckos that she named Lilo and Stitch. She swears she can tell them apart. Whatever. But the reason I bring it up is because she's turned into a full-on micro geckophile, and she now has an entire wall of morning geckos that she is very proud of. And I don't know, she wanted a little shout out for that. So
that's awesome. Congratulations, welcome.
And then, speaking of micro geckos, I will say I realized that afterward I hadn't answered your question. I want Matoa toa brevipes again. That is the gecko. That is what I would do if I had more time. Matoa toa brevipes.
I don't know what
those are.
The Madagascar salamander gecko. and that is
Oh shit, I'm gonna have to look
that
at that.
Look
that is
around.
actually that is my goal this year, is to get more of them, because
How
I got rid of the.
or I would say how not big in a hobby, because I definitely they're not that crazy big in a hobby, because I were like, what the hell is that? But how accessible are those?
They're around still. I know a couple people with them.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, that's good
I
right there. Yeah.
I bred the heck out of them until I moved to this house, and I tried to keep everything in the basement initially. That was my compromise with her. Um, didn't work out. We had to move some stuff out of the basement, and by that time, I'd already sold my Matoa. So
Okay.
now that I've got an upstairs herp room, I want them back. That is my 2025 goal.
Good.
There you
And
go.
I'm
All right.
thoroughly confident you will achieve that goal.
Thank you.
Oh yeah. You'll achieve it. You're gonna knock it out. And I said, and I'll be reaching out, be like, hey, I need some Matoa,
That'd be a
please.
cool
I
episode.
need some
Yeah.
Homophilus, please.
We can do an episode on that because I know nothing about that. I can ask you questions for 4 hours about them. That'd be a
And
cool episode.
yeah, and there's a little bit. They're not as. You're not going to get the same answer as the Homophilus, which is, oh, it's easy. Oh, it's easy. Yeah, they're pretty easy.
Good.
They're chill.
Good.
Bulletproof.
That's
They're
awesome.
tanks.
Cool. That's my goal for 2025 then. Get you on here and do an episode about the Madagascar salamander gecko.
By all means, I'd be happy to.
Cool. Awesome.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely get you on for that one, man. But
I've
all
never
right.
heard about it until
Yeah.
today.
Yeah, for real. So that's a new one for both of us. That's a new one for me. I'm about to go and research now. So thanks, Dave.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, definitely you guys. Everybody have a great night. We'll see y'all later. And guess so. Now that 2025 has started, we are starting to move this a little bit more faster now. So instead of waiting like a month later for this episode to hit Spotify, this shit will be dropped on this Thursday. So much faster turnaround now. So just you guys expect to see that, okay?
Yes,
And
list
for
is
that,
packed up. We got a lot coming for you. So
yeah.
just stay tuned, man. We're rolling them out now.
Yep. And I said, now this has changed from the Gecko Exchange podcast to the Gecko Exchange Network. So we're working on some things. So just roll with us. We're gonna take y'all on a little adventure.
Stay tuned.
After that. So, but everybody have a great night. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace.
Later.
We are off.
Yo, creeping in the dark, life nocturnal, dark and dark, both paths arboreal to terrestrial. Sticky toes gripping forest students that explore. Listen close, Gecko podcast, that's knowledge galore. Reptile talk, host Anthony and Jason. Trade secrets flow, no time wasted. From tropics to town, it's sight raining. With every chat, reptile game changing. Escaping heat waves, tan under rays. Desert sand echoes, sun blazing days. Little hustlers, camouflage and maze. Catch them speaking wisdom, the wild on replay. Reptile talk, host Anthony and Jason. Trade secrets flow, no time wasted. From tropics to town, it's sight raining. With every chat, reptile game changing. Sculling through the leaves, shadows unseen. Master of the skies, chameleon dream. Lizard tails flip, script getting clean. Gecko exchange, true reptile fiends. Reptile talk, host Anthony and Jason. Trade secrets flow, no time wasted. From tropics to town, it's sight raining. With every chat, reptile game changing. Scuttling through the leaves, shadows unseen. Master of disguise, chameleon dream. Lizard tails flip.